lama dang gumbo jen jen jambe yang la jang za lu gang ge lon zhen zhen nian zhen zai nian dai nan da ran sa jian nian deng ge ye yen zhen zhen nian yen dong ma le ma dai zhen ben zhen rai ma re men doi dong ai ge Rộn rồi gần lại bên trên đơn dễ nhẹ lại trâu chờ yang đệ rộn rồi trên rồi nhẹ môi nhẹ lòng bên trên trông rồi rộn dễ mà rề mình sen đông ơi nhung gọi trên nhẹ trên giờ rộn đơn đèn đón chơi xoay chơi đơn sẽ Yuen den len zoi jiang zhen dou jiang zhai jiang dai jiang nian jiang zhi dou le men shui jiang bei yang lai nu om ara bazana di 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 om ara bazana di 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 Om Rambam Zana Den 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 Zen Den Jin Jin Ra En San Jin Da Len Den Mo Men Bai Ra San Ka Da En Den Je Xiang La En Da Pa Ye Lun Zhen Pang Be Na Wa En Za En Da En So En Kang Zen Da Wa Ra En De Ba Xiang Sen Zhe Wa Ra De Na Con bồi chạm yang de niên niên ge men ba yang long wei shu kun sai dor zen ga rai je re ze mai ga rai jen bai ni shu so so no nyang de de jang so so kan dre la ma nan la so wai de wo jian san je nian bian dong jian se ren jian zhong doi jiang cui gu lu nam darai samye nian dian dian zheng chun jirai len bei xiao lo so wai de jiang bai jian lai ben me nam ba zhe ya se lan jie yang shi jiu song gan bai den den ben mai dong a lin jiang yao yin jian zhe wang bo so wai de gan dre long jin be re nam ba zhen zhen qian nam ne xin de lam so ren len den zhe yan den jiang zun de lun zhen da yin xiao lo so wai de wo mian jin jie yin jian bo zhang de de sui san jian guen jian wo wu sen jian gu rui ngun sui den zhen be zan ye lan mi xia la so wan de ma nam ka da nyam be sen jian tam je zhou bei san je ji sa la bo bar cha we che du la tene nge gi tene Samye Tukdrup Barché Künsel Ngöndro te 아니 냠수 랑어 기wo 냠베게 아니 장주심 꿀롱당 제베고니 아니 센바차우스.
Now please give rise to the following motivation that in order to establish all sentient beings that have been our mothers in previous lives on the state of unsurpassed Buddhahood, we will now practice the Ngöndro, the preliminary practices of the Tukdrup Barché Künsel, accomplishing the awakened mind of the Guru, dispeller of all obstacles. So in this way, give rise to this pure motivation of bodhicitta while you listen.
가정얘기 아니면 also 밀리시 렌차로래 밀리 렌차로 있잖아. 테네 밀리 된당 된 맛이 제국의 요래스. 아니 밀리 된당 덴바 체발라 당보 마랑솔라 니 제와라고 지고 요레스 제와 데라 데네 펜바도 보고 요레스 이나양 단다 마랑 저 제와 지방디 드니 놀도 요레스.
So last time I was talking about how we have attained this precious human life, and that being the case, we have to make our precious human life meaningful and fulfill the real purpose. And the way to do this, actually, what this involves actually is really having a care for ourselves. But as I mentioned last time, the way that we generally care for ourselves is mistaken. It's not the really a proper way to care for ourselves.
제와한테 아니 민노르의 체두라 니 얘기 켄남발라 드니 류라 딱제 체보레스 셈나 딱제 당고레스 슈바인 아니 켄남바게 아니 대다고 셈나 딱제 체바니 마기 레와도 유스.
And I was also explaining that in order to go about caring for ourselves properly, we have to examine our body and examine our mind, investigate what actually is the body, what is the mind, and so on. And I have a hope that you all are doing that, and that you all will do that.
네, 리셈라 따지 체바 초라니 되는 빼야고래 제소 이랑지 예, 네 리셈라 따지 체메 버전이 네 양결 따지 체로 나서 주의인스.
So if you have done that, if you have really looked into what the body and mind are, then I really rejoice in that, and I'm very happy about it. And if you haven't done that, then I want to make a request for you to do so.
마랑초로 여바데 루이당 세미베 아니 마랑초 제와디 간데치기 요레세다 드니 루이라장 세와 식침부 체데 아니 마랑초 미세데 반조르고 요레.
So to get back to that topic, we have a body and a mind, and generally the way that we spend our lives is only looking after the body. We basically spend our whole life looking after our body, and that's how our life is then spent up.
베기 체도라 되니 마랑초기 가르치기래 아니 디너 롱젤라 소파 아니 사파당 송와당 페로장 제대 아니 미세데 반족주고 요레스.
So the way that we care for our bodies is that we try to accumulate wealth and possessions, and try to accumulate enjoyable objects and so on. And we spend all our effort accumulating these things and trying to maintain them, and also trying to increase them, and this is how we generally spend our lives.
갈데 아니 미세데 아랑서 루보데 메세 딱바 템보 시부직 이엠바 이나다 아랑서 삭당 송당 펠체나 디기 요레스 에나야 아랑서 루보데 딱바 마레스 미딱바레 도아스 저랑서 하고 도와 충종네 타바도 가지기와 탭송 다네 마음바라 가지기와 탭기래 대상아 기와 탭 미딱바레 도아.
So if our bodies were permanent and last forever, then this would maybe make sense. It would be okay to spend all this effort in accumulating possessions and wealth and so on, and trying to protect and maintain those wealth and possessions. and also trying to increase them. But this is not the case. Our bodies are not permanent. They do not last. They're not lasting, and I think you all know this. And just consider how much you have changed over the course of your life up till now, how impermanent and not lasting the states of your body are, and how many changes have gone through up to now, and then also consider how much you will change in the future.
Within Penny, gave it Tamani Chua. Within the never chapter wore. Tadetago, Lidendiang, Yurungo, the Mare, Sisum Deva, Zaze Silvashin, somewhere Jasela, Susumji, Sipasumji, Devate, Sagi Kala, Silvachunjin, Duate Nanshere, Tela, Tenima Pavaina, Silva de Nima Pavaina, the Pokambu. Tenashing announced to visit there and Jopo Zobre and Meba Chowre. Within the Tindachire.
So this body of ours will be destroyed eventually. It will end, just as there's the saying that the end result of being born is always that one will die. The end result of birth is always death. So our body will disappear and will be gone. And there's a verse from the 37 practices of the Bodhisattva that says the three realms are all impermanent. The three realms are not lasting, just like a drop of dew on the blade of grass. So just as in the morning when there's a small drop of dew, small drops of water on the different plants and the grass and so on, and when the sun comes out, that dew is quickly gone, it quickly disappears. So in the same way, our body and our life will quickly be over, in fact.
And I do around so you go there, never chapter it. Tell an answer to the Shimbo, Chetini, and Missetini, Sapatan, Son, Ferrola Sopatene, Mrs. Zochubaina, telling around to the Pango which is.
So this is the reality that our body will disappear, that our life will end very soon. So if we spend, this being the case, if we spend our entire life accumulating wealth and trying to maintain and increase that wealth and those possessions and so on, only looking after the body, then in the end, we actually end up with nothing, with no result from that. So this is the way that we are always thinking, is just after our body, only concerned about our body. My body needs clothes to wear, my body needs something good to eat, my body needs a good place to stay, I need friends and helpers and so on for myself to maintain that. And this is the way that we spend our energy. This is the case, isn't it? If you think about it. So if we consider our mind and our body, if we ask the question, is the mind like the body or not? In fact, the mind is quite different from the body. For one thing, the body is composed of the 4 elements. It is created out of the 4 elements, and then it remains for some time as the nature of the 4 elements, and then eventually it will disintegrate back into those 4 elements. But the mind is not like that. The mind is not, we can't really say that the mind is formed of the element of earth, or that the mind is formed of the element of water, or of fire, or of air.
야나 카도 까르보트고 마르보트고 셀보트고 가야 레베 따용나 아니 텐제 가야 마임바지 테니 여데요레 텐제 가야 마임바진디 셈텔라 테니 메바 차야요 말에.
So the mind will not be destroyed in the same way that the body is destroyed, because it's not formed of those 4 elements. And if we examine the mind and consider, is it a male? Is the mind a male gender? Or is the mind a female gender? Or is it some 3rd gender? Or if we try to identify the mind as some other kind of animal, does it have some other nature like an animal? Or does it have some, what is its appearance like? Does it have a form where it has a certain color, red, blue, or green, and some such? And if we ask all these questions, examine the mind in this way, we will find that it's not identifiable as any of these things in any of these ways. And therefore, this is a way to see that the mind will never be destroyed. In fact, it won't disappear like the body.
테네 단당아랑소 시스러와데 테네 아랑소 외당 셈데 카탈용데 시라바레 아니 미카시기 시용데다 가야메가 차로 그래 상비다 된대요 말 시스러와데 위심 카탈와 지라 위심 카가 샤바실라 아테네 시와 세고레.
So, and then when we consider the topic of death, what does death actually mean? Death actually refers to the process of the mind separating from the body. Some people hold the view that death means that everything just ends completely and there's no more existence for that person. But in fact, this is not the case. It's not the case that we just become nothing. In fact, what happens at death is that the mind separates from the body.
타랑즈 셈데 아니 통에님도 다 셈메바레베스나 셈메바 말에 마랑초도 셈요레 셈요바디 가르세나 하고 그래서나 계랑라 르보나라 테니 계랑라 철와도와 계랑라 남도도와 계랑게 가야 하고 두기도가 어디 셈레스. 간데 셈디 메바이나 계랑 로자 그레스 로당 로라비 값소 셈메바레.
So we can't really see the mind in the same way that we see other things, but we can say that it exists. It does have its own existence, and the reason that we can say that, the sign that it does have its own existence, is that within yourself you have various feelings, don't you? Various sensations, thoughts, and you have various cognitions and the knowledge, things that you know about. So this is the way to know that the mind does have, it does exist. And if the mind did not exist, then, and you were just consists of a body, then you would be a corpse. It would be no different than a corpse.
진행을 하죠. 시사를 제라 셈나 시중에 봐 인디 다들 바도 생긴도 보고도 다 바도 시바데 되네 뇌직 랑네 되네 남시바 치가 되는데 양고 양결을 뇌된지 많이기 발라 셈디 네개요래 대셈네 바들라 바도 세기레스.
So after we die and the mind separates from the body, given that it's the case that the mind doesn't die, it then enters into a new another phase of existence, which is what we call the bardo. So the bardo refers to this phase after the mind is separated from the body, and the consciousness is then wandering around, and until the consciousness finds another body, that phase in between the mind separating from the body and the point that the consciousness finds another body, this is called the bardo. So this is what we have to experience after dying.
테니 바르더기 셈라 펜바데 아니 가르세나 아니 담배 취해들이 담배 취해라 담배 취해디 냠낸 제바이나 테니 바르돌라 양 팽기요 바르돌라 동안 망보지요라 데 동안에 조도고요.
So in this state of the bardo, what will benefit our minds when we enter the bardo will be the sacred dharma, the true dharma. There's various kinds of suffering, a lot of suffering that beings in the bardo go through, and but the one thing that can help this suffering, that can benefit the being that's going through suffering, is the sacred dharma.
네, 코 바르돌라 셈데 예바 인데 테니 바르도기 셈데라 테니 담배 취해라 땐데 아니 거기 셈라 대화식 도구 요리마도 나랑서 미세 데라 테니 단다가는데 싹 송페르샤데 뭐보지요라 뭐보 잘라 요라다 마다다고 강바다고 요라 바르데 남시들라 때나 콜라 팽기 요래 팽기 말해 그 렌도그 말을라 저런게 콜라 때 도구 말해.
So that mind that is in this state of the bardo, it's only in dependence on the dharma. It's only by relying on the dharma that being, that consciousness there in the bardo will be able to help itself and will be benefited. Anything, what I was mentioning just now, all of the possessions and wealth and so on that we try to accumulate during this life, none of that will help us when we're in the bardo, or help with these our consciousness when we're in the bardo. There's no way to give a being in the bardo any of these kinds of things, and even if you could try to give it, that being would not be able to take it or use it in any way.
계란속에 드네 빨라 아말라다고 통사로 있나 드네 계란기다 나 빨라랑 큰거 불기라는 큰거때나 빨라기 바로 남치디 렌토비레베 렌토비민도아 빨라랑 마다 유니 불기라는 마다 풀샤나 빨라기 마다 땅도비레베 남치 땅도비민도아 지랑기 부두기야 말이라 공기 렌토기야 말이 근데 인디 bardo tene ngarang zu sak song pe sha gi yunno dong ji pen do min do wa.
This is really true, isn't it? If you think about it. For example, if your parents die, if your mother or father dies, would you then think, oh, okay, my dad is dead now, but I have this house, I can give him this house and that will help him? Or, for example, you could, if you were to think, oh, my father is dead, but I have a nice car, I can give him the car. They really can't use those things. He can't take that being in the bardo can't take the car and start driving it and using it. We can't give the beings in the bardos the beings in the bardo those things, and they also would not even be able to use them if we could give it to them. So the point is that all of these possessions and enjoyments and the wealth that we spend so much effort on accumulating in this life are really of no use.
제라고 bardo기 남시대라 tene 담배 쳐라 된데 bardo ngode chen 다 지랑 단다 된데지라 내 발에 된들라 지랑 된데 전고래 된데 삼고래 선에 된데 ngode chen 아니 공기 셈라 대화 듣고요.
So that being the case, the real thing that we have to rely on is the dharma, and the real thing that the beings in the bardo, the only thing that will help them is the dharma. So what we do is we introduce people, we introduce these beings to the bardo, and give them some point out some of the key points of what they should keep in mind, what they should understand about the situation that they're in. This is the bardo. This is what you're going through now. Describe to them what's happening to them, and give them some instructions. This is how you should think. This is the attitude that you should take, and so on. And then these beings will be relieved of their suffering. They will get some ease.
bardo yo 사위제라 양 기와 치마시 랑고고요. bardo로 짱 대요 말. 기와 치마시 랑고바인데 양 도와를 주나라 미된 가야로 와시 랑고요. 텔라양 소실 되바요 말에. nga thayi lingi ins nga thayi li thoe chi tang nga nyawe li lingi is nyawe li thoe chi gi khorang la rangwa yo mare rangwa me be kimsen khan re legi wong tu go ko legi wa sangbo yo na tini biden ya ko thogure li mi ge wa che sha na tini mi ge wa sa sha na tini li nimba lang do.
So what happens after the bardo, after this phase, is that we have to we have to find another body and be incarnated in a new existence. It is not that we go through the bardo and that's it. We have to go again to a new existence. We have to go through all the various 6 classes of beings, whichever one we happen to be led to. But the reality is that it's not our decision. It's not according to our desire where we are reborn, what kind of situation we were reborn into. It's not that one can think, I want to be reborn in heaven, and then purely through that desire, they will be able to do that. Or that I want to be reborn in hell, and purely through their desire, they will be able to do that. And the reason for this is that that process is governed by our karma. We have to, we're led on by our, we're driven on by our karma beyond our control. If we have accumulated enough good karma, then we will be born into a good situation with a good body or good life. And if we have too much negative karma, some non-virtuous karma, then we will be led into a very bad situation, a bad life, the next life.
Legi wangdo drugabe ba songzang, teni ngarang zo nami naso doa, tangbo tang, chupo, michimbo tang, chungchung, nasa yungen tang, nasa mingi, tanga naso ba sama, legi wangla teni chungare.
So it's because of this functioning of karma that we see so many different types of people and types of beings. Some are born into a situation where they're very rich. There's some people that are very poor. Some people that are very powerful. Some people with no power. And there's so many various situations. This is all due to the working of karma. So given that everything is governed by karma, this is why when we practice the dharma, we have to practice according to this the workings of karma. We have to conduct ourselves accordingly, according to the way that karma operates.
Yang around kita, misalnya la saksha tu di cuma longje kita, yang kiwa cimala kidoya yorobesna, kiwa cimala kidoya mindo, tanda bardo, sujigen kimindoa, konggolu tu bisong yore, tugi nyende jago dojulna longje zada nishe jemitas, imaji kirong tonyo hiegi tizlegire, tindegi tizlegsona, kirong la yebe ngogo de chikan kireyo mares, kirangi jela yang rug mares, royo mares. Jagope chembo jala jagope chubure kendon ong mangbo yere koshi kabla khanje keme ba dogore lakdong dogora bardola lakdong dogore kewa chimala ya lakdong dogore jarbo ge jala re kewa chima khola te gore se napsa yo mare ta yunoloje saksong pel chewati ni bardola ni phengimi se chimala ni phengimi ta timazebe dandong anje kewa mangbo chita khorola khor degodi ni yuren go ji ta degido wa de sama de se degi yunoloje ki pen thogu mindo wa.
So this being the case, we are driven on by our karma, and we can't take any of the wealth and possessions and so on that we earn during this life with us into the bardo, into the next life. None of that will help then. And there's a verse by Nagarjuna there. He says he's speaking to a king. He wrote the text to the king, and he said, "O king, when you pass on to the next life, when that time arrives that you pass on to the next life, you can't take anything with you. It is only your karma that will follow you like your shadow." So he's basically saying, when he's talking to the king, when you die, you have to go empty-handed into the next life. You can't take anything with you, although you are have so much power right now. There's so much wealth, and you're ruling over so much. None of that is going to help you when you when that time comes, and nobody can kind of reach across and give you any of these things either when you're in the bardo. So the point is that all of the things that we spend so much time accumulating, possessions and wealth and so on, taking care of our body in this life, it doesn't help us at all in the bardo. It doesn't help us at all in next life either. And if you think about how long we have been here in samsara, putting so much effort into taking care of our body, accumulating wealth, accumulating possessions and so on, and we're still here. It hasn't helped us at all. We're still in the same situation.
코란에 타오라 제와라양 드닝 안한조 담배 취할 때네 드네 타르바 치고고요래 근데 인디께서 정보시나 세딜라 펜바양 담배 취할 때네 두고고요래 세치마 펜바양 가수거를 담배 취할 때네 두고고요래 코로나 동안에 타오라 제와양 담배 취할 때네 드네 펜바 두고고요래.
So if we also think about the length of this life versus the length of the future lives, the length of this life is extremely short, and our future will be extremely long. It's a much longer time than this short life. So therefore, the only thing that would make sense is to think more about the future, the next lives, rather than just this short life. And not only that, but not only to help next life within samsara, but also to attain liberation from samsara and to practice the dharma for that purpose. This is what would really make sense. And to be honest with you, practicing the dharma will not only benefit this life, it will also benefit our future lives. And then, of course, ultimately, it will benefit us because we can attain liberation from samsara with the dharma.
담배 취할 때인데 담배 취디 가래기 두고요래스나 밀리시기 두고요라 밀리시기 두고요디 네 밀리 텐덴체 거래스니 라고에 견전데 이제 된다데 봐서나 밀리라 제부 렌토바시 제고고요래라고.
So then when we think about how it's possible to practice the dharma, what we have to use to practice the dharma is this human life, this human body. So this is why we talk about why there's emphasis on this precious human life, and this is what it means to make our human lives meaningful, to fulfill a very meaningful purpose.
밀리 텐더 덴버 두트베 밀라 요바 인디 테니 나랑주비 두부고요래 아니 때제 나라양 테니 미 졸라 때니 동아추어 칠레 두스 미디 테니 미 류보디 투더버지라 삼로샤고 삼로 빼샤네 투디 요나 테니 투디 요바시나 데디 야수 첨보디네 파 로투고요 투디 메바이나 야수 첨보디 파 로투고요 말 테니 미 류덴디 투더버디네 빼샤고.
So with our human lives, with our human bodies that we have the ability to do this, to gain liberation and to make our life to get the real purpose. And there's in the some texts there's an analogy And there's a verse that goes, using this boat of the human body across the great ocean of suffering. So here there's the analogy is made between the boat and our precious human life. So in the same way that if you have a boat, you can cross a large body of water, you can cross a difficult ocean or a difficult large body of water. But if you don't have a boat, then it's impossible to do that. So that's where the analogy is, that we have this precious human life. So we have the ability to cross the ocean of suffering.
digi, bardo digi, sechime digi, sanjeji kuvantubi digi, digi tamje mi tajur milila tende tene duktukuyo tende milila tene tambichiru labi junzen tere. Shen madopa mili mayimba shen yang duktukuyo nada nyawe mileki tene chudru labine bezanala lekirwa kuma lama kuma nambi sungirwa tesungmendowa. 다들 밀리기 때문에 쳐두고래 다들 밀리기 때문에 쳐두고래 송도마도 냐왜 리den기 쳐두고래 이다기 리den기 쳐두고래 균로기 리den기 쳐두고래 송문도 가서는 콘남바기 룩두고요 말이지 다디 룩두고는 수두고래 미기 룩두고래 세상 말하면서 리den디 톨라마셔 같이네 리den 렘베 갑라더니 다 리den 데이팅네 되니 제부 렌토바 밀리 전단된 바시 쳐도 같이 뭐 싫어도
So it's actually this human life, this precious human life, which can accomplish happiness for us in this life, in the bardo, in the next life, and ultimately the complete happiness of a Buddhahood, of the state of Buddha. So this is why they teach that it's in dependence on the human life, on the precious human body, that you practice the dharma. No teachers ever talk about using the life of a hell being or the life of an animal, the body of a hungry ghost, and so on, to practice the dharma. They never teach that. They only talk about relying on the precious human life to practice the dharma, accomplish the dharma. The reason that they don't teach these, they don't talk about relying on the body of a hell being or of an animal, hungry ghost, and so on, is because those types of beings, they're just not able to practice the dharma. So therefore, the point is that we have this human life now, and the point is to make it meaningful, to take the real meaning and the real purpose of it, and not let it go to waste. So yeah, this is very important. Don't you think this is important to not let this go to waste?
망부지 사고되고 말아와 소소로 당해 소소로 되게 근데 잠지다 사고라 그냥 얘기양 진노방지 사회에 말해서 아무래도 지혜매고 자는데 까지 가고 차로 그러다 진노방지 사고를 송도를 끌고래 네 세단된 바 그런 그 리미트스기도 이제 뛰고 오게 적시했어 좀 적시했어 근데 그래 지들이 진노방지야 사
So I'm explaining all of this to you about wealth and possessions and the uselessness of wealth and possessions, but on the other hand, I'm not. It's not that I'm saying that you should not accumulate any of these things. That you should not work to accumulate some wealth and some possessions and some enjoyments and so on. But the point is to put the right amount of effort into these things, not to have a limit to these pursuits. Otherwise, if I were to tell you to not accumulate any wealth and not try to earn any money and not have any possessions, that would be quite difficult. It wouldn't be able to live. But the point is that we should have some limit and some contentment and keep it at the right amount.
밀린 견단대 바시 딘데생 제국이요레스 구름무지게 아니 숭샤바레스 구름무지게다 투두 바시 근선된데네 숭요레 대인문도 숭요레 딘데지관에드네 밀린 견단대 바시 제국이요레스 제당다 넘버 산지비 쳐라 밀린 견단대 바시 집에 쳐만 곳이다요 이나 단단한 아서 값스바게 냐면 제디 달라메 투두 바시 근선지 ngondro ngate ngondro ngate 사지지 잼바 장주적이 사된 시에차와 슉소 순가 다 된델라 때문에 다 나랑 좀 밀리 된다는 것이 제직 무릎무지기 다 숭샤요 맞죠.
So we're talking here about how to make this human life, this precious human life, meaningful. So how do we do that? That's the question. And Guru Rinpoche has actually taught us how to do that. He gave us the answer, and the answer is in these practices of the Ngöndro and so on. So the Buddhas have taught many different teachings, different practices. But here, what we are concerned with is the preliminary practices to the Samye Tukdrup Barché Künsel, the accomplishing the awakened mind of the Guru, the dispeller of all obstacles. The supreme seed of enlightenment is the title, and so this is actually our answer about how to do that, how to make our human life meaningful, is with this practice.
네, 당연한 저기 ngondro nyamnen che tela tene ngondro keba ngondro dingbo ngondro duba sangana zo tukdrup la tene ngondro sum tambare yore.
So for as far as the different lengths of this preliminary practice to the accomplishing the awakened mind of the Guru, we have a condensed form, a medium length form, and a long form.
한보 ngondro dingbo te tene jamyan kenzo ongbogi ani guru sungba tershung guru sungba ge siri tershung nangshin chende chu diksha de ngondro jires te ngondro de dingbo res.
So the Ngöndro text, which just consists of the words of the actual dharma, just as they are, which was decoded and written down by Jamyen Khyentse Wangpo. This is the medium length text. So the medium length text just consists of the text of the dharma as it was recorded by Jamyen Khyentse Wangpo.
네, Khyentse Wangpo ge songshao be ngondro dingbo te la tene terse 상황을 보당 tene karmi khenpo ge 대양 대강라 또 좀 태발점이 돼서 망와 소샤요레스 망와 소샤기 tene ngondro 개발드레스.
So this medium length Ngöndro text, which was recorded by Jamyen Khyentse Wangpo, the son of the Terten, the son of Trögyal Lingpa Tsewang Norbu, together with Karme Khenpo, they added some text within that medium length text that was recorded by Jamyen Khyentse Wangpo, and this a longer version that resulted from their additions is the extensive long version.
네, ngondro 디바데 tani chacha tugo urjel bochi sunamba. 아니 ngondro dibachi res tani dinga zolata ngondro keba chedeena keba. Ngondro dimbo chedeena dimbo. Ngondro diba chedeena diba tani sum soso 강력이 되는 양면체 res.
And finally, the concise ngondro was arranged by the Lord of Refuge, Tukdrup Barché. So thus we have three forms, or three lengths of the ngondro text. There's the extensive ngondro text, the medium length ngondro text, and the short ngondro text. We have all of these available. And so as practitioners, we can actually choose which one we want to practice. Whichever one we're able to practice, we can choose among those three. But what I am going to be teaching you is the extensive ngondro text.
sabji kaze yoga tninga shugi ins chidangdi chenjang de decision shida yo mare ani ngasa pa decision na hendo chenbu du tengu decision nga decision ins.
So first, what I will explain is the title of this text. And there are actually many topics and many meanings that can be extracted from this title. And so this is what I will do first, is to explain the meanings of the title. This title is actually quite short. There's not many words in the title, but in fact, there's a great meaning. There's a lot of meaning that is actually packed into that title. So when we practice, we have two phases of practice: the preliminary practices and the main part of practice.
Lame Tukdrup Barché Künsel Ngöndro Ngautin Saji Yemba Changju Chogi Sabin She Chawa Shukso Tatango Lame Sute Tine Tandanganzo Sangha Doje Tekbanangla Tine Toritang Tarba Tamje Chembe Lam Manorwa Tengen de la Tine Nanzugi Lama Lapires.
So the title of this extensive ngondro is accomplishing the awakened mind of the guru. The preliminary practice for accomplishing the awakened mind of the guru, dispeller of all obstacles, adorned with clarifications, the supreme seed of enlightenment. So the first word here is in a Tibetan lama. Lame Tukdrup Barché Künsel is a lama, which refers to the guru. So in the practice of the Vajrayana Buddhism, the guru is the one who teaches us how we can accomplish happiness in this life, the next life, and ultimately liberation from samsara and the level of Buddhahood.
Dogi Luglai na Tinangansugi Tumba Sangye Sigdwa Tumba Sangye Tumba Sina Toritang Tarba Tamji Chimbe Lam Tubabo Tamji Shegen Tila Sangye Lagidwa Tumba Sangye Sigdwa Tinan Shigi Nala Lama Sangye Lavade Tanda Chikbar.
So in the sutra level teachings, in contrast to the Vajrayana tantric level of teaching. In the sutra level of teachings, we talk about our teacher, the Buddha, and just in the same way that in the sutra level of teachings, the Buddha is the teacher who teaches us how to attain the higher realms, the states of higher existence, liberation from samsara, and the state of omniscience. Then in the same way here, this is the function of the lama, the guru in the Vajrayana.
Lama tela tene lama sangye sila pere mato tamba sangye sila bumarwa tamba sangye sila tene tolula sangye chumden de chusong les tamba sangye sila bidwa ani tamba lami sangye rimbo sila bidwa tamba sina tene lam tengen thode dan thaba thamje lam tengen na tamba la ta tamba lame la ra ta jigden ji khamla chidangi tamba lame sangye rimbo ji sina nga ju chiba puli kapsu tere tamba de jira tamba lame sangye rimbo 직된지 감나 최땡게 때 뭔고 요래라봐 최땡게 나음의 초도 줘봐 약속의 수레스는 상계를 해서 애들 남의 생들이 초도 줘봐 보고 되겠어 덤바담의 상계 대인이 상계 생들이 직된지 감나 최땡게 나음의 약속의 수레스는 상계를 해라봐.
So in the Vajrayana we talk about the guru as the Buddha. We don't really and in the sutra level they talk about the Buddha as the teacher Buddha, as opposed to the guru Buddha. So in that context of the sutras, the sutra level practice, the Buddha is the one who teaches us the path to liberation and omniscience and so on. And we recite this prayer when we make offerings to the unsurpassed teacher, the Buddha. So the meaning of this line in the prayer is that we can consider all the various teachers of the world. There's many different teachers in the world, various subjects and so on, but among all of them, the one who is supreme, the one who is unsurpassed, is the Buddha. So this is the meaning in this verse that we recite, the unsurpassed teacher, the precious Buddha. That's the meaning of that.
만으로 땡게 되는 만족이 라마 라기레스 다 텔라 라마 라부 경제 가르스나 라스나 공남해봐 텔레 공남해봐시라 라스.
So in contrast to that, in the Vajrayana, we don't usually talk about the teacher, the Buddha, in the same way that they use in the sutra level. We talk about the guru as the Buddha, the guru as the teacher, the real teacher. So the guru is the one who teaches us the path to the higher realms and to liberation and to omniscience and so on. And if we take apart the word in Tibetan, which means guru, lama, the first syllable there, la, means unsurpassed. It means the highest, basically, la. So the guru has inconceivable qualities, uncountable, inconceivable qualities, because there's nobody else who has the same level of qualities, inconceivable qualities. This is why we use that first syllable of the word lama, la, to mean unsurpassed. It's possible that we may have a doubt here. When we say that the Lama is unsurpassed, we can have a doubt. Is it really possible that the Lama could be a higher being or a higher level than the Buddha? Because the Buddha is generally the highest state that one can reach. There's no way to be higher than the Buddha. So we can have this doubt. How can it be that we say that the Guru is unsurpassed? Is the Guru greater than the Buddha?
라마데 라이 경제 가레스나 라마데 드네 강보 상계 탐지지 줄바래.
So the answer to this is the reason why the Guru is considered unsurpassed is that the Guru is in fact an emanation, a manifestation of all the Buddhas.
산제지 가리송을에 양에 마치 꿈가고 명아 마tin 꿈가고 돼지 담아라 줄라 기로하나 나니 계획시기데 첼라 속에 된지주로 생콩드네 몽 발랑아 계획시인다 따말라 속바트네 쭈니 용이 있어요. 오늘 다리당 탈바 탐지 김베 남만으로 땡게지이나 다디 산제지 주가 라마레데.
So this is why the Buddha, he taught, he said, do not grieve Ananda, do not mourn Ananda. In the future, I will manifest as a spiritual teacher. So the meaning of this is that our spiritual teachers are in fact the ones that are teaching us the path of the Dharma are in fact the manifestations or emanations of the Buddha. So we say that the Guru is the manifestation or the emanation of the Buddhas of the past. And not only that, but he is in fact also the source of all of the Buddhas of the future. And in addition to that, he is also the representative or the regent of all the Buddhas of the present.
데베 상제지 단답 선제지 도된 제도그래서나 제도그 말해. 다 데베 상제지 도된디 스위치그래. 단답 남아되게 지그래. 다 몽 상제지 도된디 몽과 상제지 단답 중요 말해. 몽 상제지 도된디 단답 스위치그래. 남아게 지그래. 단답 상제지 상제 고싱의 벽사. 다 단대기 상제지 도된디 스위치그래. 다 남아되게 지그래. 뒤숨 상제지 제바 탐지 남아게 지용도 남아의 공을
So we can, if we think about it in this way, then we can understand how the Guru can be in fact higher or superior to all the Buddhas. The Buddhas of the past are already gone and they cannot help us now. They can't teach us in the present. And who is, if we ask who is actually fulfilling the role of the Buddhas of the present, it is in fact the Guru. And if we think about the Buddhas of the future, they have not arrived yet. And as I said before, the source of those Buddhas are gurus today. So if we think about this fact that the guru, in fact, fulfills the function of all of the Buddhas of the three times, of the Buddhas of the past, the Buddhas of the present, and the Buddhas of the future, then we can understand how the guru can be superior to the Buddhas of the three times.
Sanje Nima Pebure, Narangi Sonam Medi, Sanje Majavare, Abato Nasore, Tangaranzola Tanda Sugi Zingidu, Namadi Jesus Zingidua. Namadi, Sanje Legend Kadin Chevara, Sanje Jesus Matua de Lamigi Jesus Mazola, Tending Maranzola, Sanje Legend Kadin Chevashi in the bar. This one, then Sanje Kundam Yamna Yang, Kadi Sanje Kunde, Keperpa, Sun. And Lamigi Vendel, Sanje Danyambare, Selabare. Sanje Danyambare, Sanje Zuru Namla Zuru Pudu, Ama Zuru Mindu, de la Lapuyo Mare. Sanje Gisinjin Ruden Chebade, Tene Lamegi Chiguare, Sanje Lejan House Chiguare, Tendu Las Lara, Rangla Katin, Teona, Sanje Lejan Katin Chewashaw, Tendi. Yundin Sanje Kunda Nyam, Senden Sanje Nyambashi, Katin Sanje Lejan Habashi Radio, so.
So in this way, the gurus actually surpass, or gurus actually surpasses all of the Buddhas. And another way to think about it is that the guru's the kindness to us, the guru, what the guru does for us, and the benefit he does for us is actually higher, greater than the Buddhas. The Buddhas of in our situation as it is today, there are no Buddhas. Shakyamuni Buddha is gone. So we, due to our lack of merit, we are not able to have a connection with him. And so who is the one that will actually fulfill that role? It is actually our guru. So in that way, in terms of the kindness or the benefit that is shown to us by the guru, this is greater than that of the Buddhas. And there's a verse that goes, although although the guru is equal to the Buddhas in his special qualities, in terms of the kindness that he shows to us, he is actually superior to all the Buddhas. So what it means is that basically the Lama has the same, our gurus have the same special qualities as the awakened beings, as the Buddhas. But those Buddhas are not here to help us. But because the guru is here to help us, his kindness and the benefit that he shows to us, the favor that he shows to us is in fact higher, is in fact greater than those Buddhas. So we can't really say, if we think about the miraculous powers that are shown by the Buddha, we should not think that the Buddha displays all kinds of miraculous powers, but our gurus don't do that. So they're not on equal footing. This is not the way to think. So the one who actually carries out the activity of the Buddhas and the one who takes care of sentient beings and takes us in and shows us the benefit is the guru. So in this way, he is superior to the Buddhas, and the kindness and the benefit that he gives to us, the favor he shows to us, is superior.
네 마시바들 니요 마시바디 제기 아말라고 네 아말라 부직 모도메나 네 아마데기 부직라 빼 제와치기를 대낭신지 네 라마데기 네 도와선제 탐 제라 네 빼면서 제와친고 도와선제 탐제 동알레 탑토나 삼백이 제와요 대인지 공 동알레 탑도백이 남동부요 대인데 아만낭시를 했어.
So this is the explanation of that is first syllable la of the Tibetan word lama for guru. And when we get to the second syllable ma, there's two ways to understand this syllable. The first way is to understand that syllable ma in the meaning of a mother. So if you consider the love that a mother has for her only child, for example, the love that a mother shows to an only child is really very great love. This can't really find any purer or greater love than that love that a mother has for her child. So in the same way, the guru, the lama, has this love for all sentient beings. He has this love that takes the form of wanting them all to attain liberation and all to be liberated from suffering and to attain the state of Buddhahood. So this is the way to understand. In this way, then the lama can be likened or parallel to a mother.
이바데 마시바데 아니 중내기 쪼라고지 쪼라고 가르스나 라마데라 때네 티네 세비 되기 세침에 되기 틴타르바다 탐지체 베되기 탐제 라마데라 때네 중고요 텐디 중서 쪼라고지 근데 라마인데 티네 마시바데 쪼시라양 고기요.
So the second way to think about this syllable ma is as meaning the principle, the kind of most important thing, and also as the source for our happiness in this life, for happiness in the next life, and for the complete happiness of liberation and the level of Buddhahood. Because it's the dependence on the guru, is dependence on the lama, that all of these benefits come about, all this happiness comes about. Then according to this understanding of that syllable ma, he is the most important, the primary one.
Sanskrit 나 guru labdi 벽에라 파테가 주나 지와 지고 첨부를 보고 그래. 그래 지고랬으나 라마텔라 윤대 삼비 미자바시디 텔라 지고요. 대인디 guru labara 이나 벽에 라마당 guru니 에스카가요. 된다고.
So if we think about the Sanskrit word that is the source for the Tibetan word lama, that the Tibetan word lama is the translation of, this word is guru. And in Sanskrit, that word means a heavy. So the way to understand that is that the guru is heavy with special qualities. He has so many special qualities that you think about him this way, being heavy or laden with special qualities. If we think about the Tibetan word lama, the way we explain it is slightly different, but the meaning comes down to the same thing, in fact.
Dendi ta namasirwati Toridang Tarba Tanjimbe Lama Nova Tundukela Lama Labarwa Ta Tetabu Lama de la Tuni Yunden Karagugure Sinatetabu Lama Topa Chimbo Dan Dendeba Kimba Chimbo Dan Dendeba Sewa Chimbo Dan Dendeba Niba Chimbo Dan Dendeba Dende Shidi Dengu De Shidi Denduba Yena Tene Simjendi Ya Watch in the Tritu Duja Jinju Denzo Tene Ya Watch in the Tritu.
So the Lama is the one who teaches us the path to the higher realms and to omniscience. And he's heavy with all of these qualities. So what are these qualities actually? What qualities does the Lama have? He must have a great realization. He must have a great knowledge. He must have a great compassion, and he has great power. Because he has all of these qualities, then he's able to lead us in this way, to lead us to the higher realms and the omniscience and so on.
똑바당 덴바시 고구요래 아니 똑바당 덴바메나 신센진 드니 타르바르 덴두구 말에 드니 켐바 친구다 하고 그래 켐바데 도당 시고고 그래 지다지니 이슈 담지반데 임바탕마 시고고 그래 디마시나 신라 티두구 말에 양 켐바당 똑바요 세와메나 심제나 닝지치네요 덴바 치두구 말 세와 고고 다 세와 똑바요 캠바이 세와 연나야 네바로지 매바이나 심진 된도 말이야 심진은 된도 그 네바지 식지 왕당라고 돼 우도와 네바 히유나 아토리단 탈바튼 집에 남라 등의 도자 심진데다 된도 그요.
So the Lama needs to have a great realization. If he has this great realization, then he'll be able to lead us out of our situation into the higher realms, into the state of omniscience and so on. If he doesn't have that great realization, there's no way that he could do that. And he has to have also the great knowledge. And the reason for that is that he has to understand the way to practice the dharma, the way that the dharma functions, and to understand the way that reality in general functions, to have the two aspects of the wisdom that knows all phenomena and the wisdom that knows the nature of reality exactly as it is. And it's only with this kind of knowledge that he will be able to teach us the dharma. And the third quality is that he has to have a great love and compassion. Otherwise, he will not be able to take care of sentient beings, to take in sentient beings and lead them in this way, to lead them on the path. And as for the fourth quality, the quality of a power or capacity, this is also necessary to lead beings. It needs to have some mastery and this high level of power in order to really lead sentient beings to the higher realms and to omniscience, the state of omniscience. So when we talk about the different types of lamas, there are many different types. There's various types we can talk about, but if we condense them into a simple way or a small number of categories, then there are two types. There's the root lama and there are branch lamas. There are these two. So as far as the first one, the root lama, this is the one who will introduce the disciple to the nature of mind, to the nature of reality. And when the disciple is able to recognize that nature of mind based on this lama's instruction, then that's what we call the root lama. And when it comes to the branch lamas, these are the lamas that they grant us empowerments and teach us the dharma and so on. So these are the two main types of lamas.
Lamagi tendaki decision to channel Shibai and in Channel the Yang, Samloya Bosch Tangoche, on that and the million dancere on a rangi, Samlo Tangashi, rangi Ripa Tangashi, rangi Tachi, the Messicatching Boyore, and Jemba, Lissim Tachina, and it can be true to Bala Pendoyore.
So this is where we'll stop for today. And today I have explained to you the meaning of this word lama in the title of our text. So what I would like for all you to do is to think about what we have learned and to really contemplate that and look into it, examine it, examine the nature of your body and the nature of your mind, and the other advice that I've given you about these topics. And if you do this, there'll be a great benefit for you.
오늘에다 전당하라는 좋다. 오늘 삼로 땅에게 뒤지지를 내버려. 되니 리파 부처 땅에게 뒤지지를 내버려. 아니 딱지지에게 뒤지지를 내버려. 된대라부 삼로 땅 맛이 리파 땅 맛이 딱지지 맛이나 되는 거는 저 된대라부지 자로 그래. 된대 사에 된도게 사기를 야래 된도게 야기를 로에 된도게 그래. 내가 저 된도다 잡으라고 자로 그래. 먼저 미래와 된도다 만다와 시키고 그러라.
So this is something really important. I really want to get this across to you. It's very important to examine this and to know how to examine and to think and to use your intelligence. Now is a critical time. Now is the time to really think properly and examine very carefully. As humans, we have this ability to think very carefully, deeply, and examine in a very deep way. If we don't use this capacity, then we basically are not too much different than animals. So we shouldn't carry on in that way. We should really use this capacity that we have to be something higher than animals and to really think well.
인디스나 년이 또 년년 제발라더니 민지스그래 대체상 지난번에 아니 다른한조도 아니 뮤티다 민지 니가 제니로 아니라는 거 ngondro 아니 랍청나 니마라 땡직다고든 양나니 잡고든 라 망고 된통마를 지나버려 주시려요 말아 야 되마도나 샤고니라 땡마치든 대야 대마도나 샤고 숨라 땡마치 니버도 인지미지 저런스
So when we talk about the different types of instruction that are given in the Dharma teachings, there are two types. One is you can call instruction. It's an instruction for contemplation, we can say. And the other type of instruction is an instruction for ripening. So the first type, the instruction for contemplation, so the teacher will teach, and the students will then think about what he said, contemplate it, and say, "Oh, it seems it is that way." Contemplate the subject matter somewhat. And the second type, the ripening instruction, this is when you receive instruction from the lama and put it into practice as much as you can, at least a little bit. So here, what I have given you is consists of both aspects, both types. It's both this instruction of contemplation and also the instruction of ripening, the ripening instruction and the contemplation instruction. So what I would like you to do then is to contemplate, as I said before, as I just said, and also put it into practice at least somewhat. You should recite this extensive Ngöndro text. The best is if you can recite it twice per day. If not, then do it once per day. And if you really can't do that, then do every other day. And at the very least, you should recite it, this extensive ngondro, once through every 3 days.